Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you for dropping by this video. To anyone who's new to this channel is dedicated to helping people learn the difference between authentic non-duality and nonsense non-duality, also known as Neo-Advaita. You can learn more about these topics in the links I've posted to the side or below. And more importantly, well, not more importantly, but learning how to recover from Neo-Advaita, because it's really, there's no other way to say, well, there's many ways to say it, but it's truly just, it's a mind fuck. Neo-Advaita is like a descending labyrinth that just takes people in a downwards direction. The trick is it does it very slowly. Unless you take it, if you take it very seriously, your descent will be rapid. But in general, it's just a slow eating away of your life force. So, all the while falsely teaching you that you're sort of getting better or growing, when the opposite is it like offers evolution and you're like de-evolving. So the thing that's on my mind and heart right now is, why is it so hard to overcome Neo-Advaita? And why is it so hard to leave? It's very hard to leave. As I've shared many times, it took me almost a decade and a half to leave after I realized it was harmful. And then why is it so hard to recover from it? Well, part of the reason why is I believe, I mean, there's many reasons, but one of the main ones, or what I'm really reflecting on right now, is that it creates what I call monk or nun consciousness. This idea of I'm only going to seek happiness through spirituality, maybe through service, but primarily through spirituality. And so that's fine for a monk or nun who's like going to devote their whole life to prayer, meditation, and service, and simple service. Like not setting up a nonprofit kind of service, but being of service in very simple ways. That's fine for a monk or nun. But for someone who like lives in the world and has to go grocery shopping and pay bills and earn money, while it sounds virtuous, like, oh, I'm going to put God first and I'm only going to seek happiness through God, it's actually very destructive if approached incorrectly. That's why a true non-duality teacher doesn't go around just throwing out these things like, the only happiness is to be found in enlightenment, or you're already happy, or such spiritual slogans. They're very harmful unless they're approached and practiced correctly, because they put you at war with yourself. So the reason why I'm thinking about this right now is because I've been doing, in my journey of healing from Neo-Advaita, I've been doing really well at not falling into that trap of like, I'm only going to find happiness, or I'm only going to seek happiness through God, through enlightenment. And been living much more grounded and balanced. And then I fell into it again in the last month and a half. I just fell right on into it. And lost interest in just about everything else other than service and spiritual practice. And oh my God. And very quickly I began to suffer, because it's not a healthy way to live unless you're properly prepared for that. But the question is, why did I fall into it when I know better? And I think part of the reason why is Neo-Advaita offers a fantasy, right? Like, it's just like do this practice and everything will be great, or just change this belief system and all your problems will be gone. And it's absolute nonsense. I haven't met I've met a lot of people who are into non-duality, most of them into Neo-Advaita. And I've only met three people who are really found like not perfect, but almost perfect peace through this path. And one of them had a traditional Hindu guru. Another one's just a very exceptional soul. And that person has a partially traditional guru. And the third, I don't quite know their story. But this is, after meeting and talking to literally thousands of people. Um, so it, and if they still have problems, and by the way, they still have problems, they still have challenges. Um, so the fantasy didn't fully come true for them either. But I think that's part of what makes it so attractive is this idea of like, I'm not going to have to deal with life because life is hard. Life is very challenging. Anyone who tells you that life is not challenging or like take this course or do this practice and then life won't be challenging is really selling you something. No, they may not be selling you something trying to get your money, but they're lying and they're trying to get something. Um, and so I've been deconstructing Neo-Advaita for about 4 years now. And lately, in the last year or so, I've been focused more on, okay, well, what's going to actually create change and help people recover from it? And I've created a map, which you can check out on my webpage. It's under Neo-Advaita 101. And you scroll down a little bit and how to recover from Neo-Advaita. So, part of what I realized is that to really recover from it, you have to make a pretty radical decision. And by you, I mean me or anyone. You have to decide to be a human again because Neo-Advaita radically disconnects us from our humanity. And also there's the decision like, I need to be human and I need to do this thing called life. Now, it may sound like a simple thing, but we're talking about learning to deal with feelings, learning to have thoughts, cultivating balance, taking care of physical, emotional, mental health, having relationships and not just romantic relationships, but like the whole shebang. And it's hard. It's hard. I wish I could lie. It's hard for me. And I've met some other people that it's hard for. And part of why it's so hard is that we've experienced unconditional peace, bliss, and happiness, right? By unconditional, I mean it's not connected to a person, place, or thing. It's just like, oh, do this practice, go to this satsang, and oh my God, I feel so good. Like for next to nothing, you do next to nothing, you get this amazing feeling. Amazing. And things in this world do not give that same feeling. Maybe temporarily, maybe here and there, but not consistently. And then pursuing a goal in the world, there's all sorts of frustrations and bumps. And so making the decision to really strive to be a human being and live again, participate in life again. It's easy to say it. It's be like, okay, I'm going to do this human thing. But then, like, you get a sick cat and someone sends you a yucky text and someone cuts you off in traffic. It's like, oh, Kirk to Enterprise, one to beam up. Get me out of this place. And so, so it's just really in my face right now. Because once I realized what I was doing, that I was doing spiritual bypassing, and I see your comment, Moo, I'll check it out in a moment. Then I had to redecide, like, okay, dude, are you gonna come back to living again? Are you gonna come back to doing the human thing? And I really want to do it, but I also really don't. It's so much easier in the short run to like just do spiritual practices and get happy and high on God. But it just doesn't work. If it worked, Neo-Advaita would work. So that's what's on my mind and heart today. Is I'm struggling a little because the challenges, there's quite a few challenges in my life right now, and there's also a lot of exciting things. Excuse me. And connected to those exciting things are challenges. So, but I'm in. I'm going to do it, but it's not comfortable and not easy. Mew, what did you write? Moo said, do you feel that monks or nuns are more privileged than those who must balance spirituality with society? No, it's a clear question. Privileged. Well, I mean, I've never been a monk or nun, but I've tried in my own way. And what I can say is the more you turn within, the more crap there is to face. So when you're a monk or nun, in a certain sense, your life is privileged. And in another certain sense, your life is very, very hard. Someone has a bad day, they can just call a friend or go see a movie or go get their favorite meal or have a bubble bath, and the negative feelings will go away, sort of, mostly. Not so for a monk or nun. So the thing is what I've realized through trying to, basically for the last 30 years, I've been trying to get myself ready to be a monk and failed over and over and over. So what I've realized is it really comes down to having a certain personality type. For the right personality type, it can really work. And for the wrong personality type, it ain't going to work. Moo wrote, participate in life is beautiful, but in the terms that those who you interact with, you can allow yourself to learn. Yeah, well, that's beautiful. Moo wrote, participation in life is beautiful, but in terms, those who you interact with, you can allow yourself to learn from and love, but not depend on. Well, Moo, I don't disagree with that. I would just add that it's not so easy to not become attached to things. And you're talking about people. So, as soon as I've had like 3 or 4 good conversations with someone, then I want more. Sometimes even just one good conversation. And so I don't disagree with what you're saying. Not so easy to stay unattached. So yeah, that's just a little bit of my journey in this process. And I think that's all I have to share for now. Any other questions or comments? Oh, I need to go do a little yoga, a little recharge. But any other questions or comments before I wrap this up? All right, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for joining in. Moo, thanks for your participation. Beautiful questions, beautiful thoughts. Take care, angels. Catch you soon.